ZuZu's Coffee House in Beacon, New York. September 2009.
So Melissa's put together a slideshow of some pieces of pictures that we acquired that were sent to us from the artists, things of that nature. And Melissa's brother also has filmed Windows on Main Street, which is available on the blog. So there's some artist interviews and some screenshots and things of that nature. So the whole event has been filmed. What I was thinking of today was that we would go around and, if anything, for documentation purposes, talk about your pieces and how you came to your understanding, your relationship with the business owners, and then finally any critiques that you might have for us that might make it better for next year. So people may come and go, and if anything, I appreciate you being here. So let me actually have them turn off the music too, and then we'll get going.
No, I can't.
So we had 28 artists and 25 spaces, which upped it from the previous years, kind of instilled this new energy this year. And we also tried to invite some more community-based groups. Beacon Community Center teens, the Beacon Green teens, who did a lovely piece in the Beacon Dental Market. And the Incline Railway Society, who did a presentation over here in Van Brunt's old place, which was really nice. And during the day, if you looked at it, you could look up and see the actual incline railway. So it worked out well. Next year, we hope to have more community groups as well, and make it more of a community-centric piece. Up to now, it's been an art-centric piece, and that's wonderful. But we think it could be more of a community event each year. So I guess I'm going to start with you, Carla. If you want to tell us about your piece and how you came to it, and then maybe also how you worked with the business and things that went down with that.
Okay. Well, I'm a mixed media artist, and I use the one product that I constantly use in my pieces is resin. And the other constant thing is that I'm always painting about the river. So I thought that Beacon Institute for Rivers and Estuaries would be a perfect pairing up. And I begged, please, 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 I want this window. And I actually had to send them a proposal to get them to finally okay it, and then they sort of changed it. But eventually we came to a common language and decided that it's all about the river. What I do is about the river, what they do is about the river, and rather than getting tangled up in science and words and conflict, I wanted to keep it as simple as possible. So the piece that I did, the resin for me was a reflection of water. And it's about the ecosystem, and Beacon Institute is concerned about the ecosystem of the North.
But let me go back to the very beginning. You had another idea first.
I did, and actually the idea that is up is pretty much the original idea.
I see.
But we started getting tangled into, oh no, if you're going to do a piece about the endangered species of fish in the river, then it has to be scientific. And we kept trying to say, no, it doesn't have to be science. This is about art.
Yes.
It's supposed to be about art, not about the science.
There was a lot of back and forth with Carla and Beacon Rivers and Estuaries because they were concerned about their image,
Yes.
I would say. Being that they're a scientific organization. Carla's original idea really, very simply, was to feature some of the endangered fish and species in the Hudson River. And they were a little concerned about that because they're not necessarily an environmental organization or an activist organization. We discovered that they're a scientific organization. And so we met with them a few times.
Yes.
They proposals, made new proposals, etc. So this was a real challenge.
It was, and then so I gave them a second proposal, and one of the things that they do is they teach children about the river. They monitor the river, and with the equipment that they've been putting out into the river, rather than having this little tiny window of information, whereas in the old way they used to go down and they take a sample of the water. Well, 10 minutes later, the water can be completely different from what that sample was. So what they're doing now is a 24/7 picture of what's happening chemically in the river. They have these little, it looks like a little hairpin that they use. It's a very, very primitive form of testing the river that they give to kids to play with science. And so I thought, oh, well, this would be nice. Can I get 25 to 30 of these little hairpins that they have for monitoring, and I'll add that into the piece, and I'm going to do these platforms that look like you're looking through the strata of the river, and then the hairpins at the bottom, and then maybe some wire hanging down, sort of like an underwater swirling cyclone kind of a thing. And at first they loved that idea, which was the second proposal. And I had actually started to pour the resin, and 3 weeks later got an email, no, you can't do that. And no, we can't give you
$15 for a tiny jar.
Yeah, and I don't even do the little things. I do the gallon kits for $62 every time I I'm like, oh, no. So now I had to, and they said, well, go back to your original idea, we like that. And then they sent me a website with the endangered species. There was only one fish on their list that was actually in the Hudson. I'm like, okay, I can't do that. So I think I found a list through Clearwater. And if it wasn't Clearwater, then it was Riverkeeper that had a more defined list. There was something like 13 fish that are that have this pressure on them. So I decided that, okay, it didn't necessarily have to be about specific fish. The fish is more of a metaphor for the whole ecosystem. So I decided that I would make what appears to be sort of ghost fish by just printing them on paper. And there's Xerox copies, and then you put resin on it, it becomes sort of translucent. So the idea now behind the piece that I actually finished and managed to get up 2 minutes to spare for the deadline day was that will we actually know these fish sometime in the future in person, or are we only going to know them as carbon copies in a book or online? And I think the piece reflects that. You do see through the piece, it feels like water. You see the fish, and I think that it's a good conversation between an artist who works on pieces about the river and about the ecosystem, and with Beacon Institute that deals with issues about the river and the science of the river.
It's art and science, I would say. And that's at Beacon River's Natural Awareness. You want to check that out today up close.
If you get a chance to go at night at the beach, we have lights that are on a timer that at night they go on and the light comes through the piece. And what's nice is that you don't have all that reflection on the window that you have during the day, which makes it really interesting to look at it during the day. Or if you happen to go there during the day, go inside, and that's a much different view. So the piece, it changes according to the time of day, the light conditions, the environment. But then that also reflects the same thing that happens with the actual river. It looks different minute by minute by minute.
I find you have really interesting sort of transparency, like interesting layering from one layer of resin to the next. Really sort of controls that.
Yeah, and then they had that really cool side windows you could see between it.
Yeah.
That was a nice little bonus.
I'm going to move around, so we're not going to go round robin, but I'm going to go to you next. I just want to hear about your piece. And I'd like to publicly apologize for getting your name wrong. You ever had your name wrong on the promotions and